So what is special on BAI? I would say the really important thing with BAI is that this is a school of architecture that is not only focused on theoretical project. It's not like all the universities focusing on the work in a semester that more or less lives in an abstract way. The real challenge of BAI is that we will test the projects that we are working on in the way that we want to have the best projects for a specific kind of question. Maybe it's sustainability, maybe it's the usage of material in building context, also in construction sites, whatever. Can be other questions that are from an interest, from a social or common public interest that we want to test out in the projects. And if the projects reach a really high quality that is worth to say, yes, this is a case study project, it can implement something and make it visible, this is important, then we will build this project. And this is something very specific. It comes from my experience that I found out in my life that you can talk about a lot of things, and people like to talk nowadays about anything, even if you are not, me are not, I am not expert in more than broad fields. So talking about everything is that what nowadays happens, and I myself prefer more to demonstrate or to try out in a kind of experimentation or in a kind of a test. Is it really possible to realize that what we are talking about? So I start always with the question, shall we do it? And shall we do it in architecture? So that means I address myself to architects, to students that really want to become professionals. They are professionals or shall be professionals in architecture, not in other fields. And in architecture, that means we want to work out a project in a way that it can be a demonstrator for possibilities that you cannot realize in normal circumstances. When you're thinking about, for example, social housing, then you can say testing out what means social housing has done in a way that we have a full spread of possibility to see the plans, to see plans of buildings that were built. But nobody asks anymore about what could be the topic behind of that. I mean, social housing is for sure a question about how can we build in a way that the costs are low. But this is not the end of the question. This is the starting point. You can also ask about how would you like to live in an apartment, even if you have not much money. But nevertheless, when you are living in an apartment, you should feel very comfortable. You should be happy to live in an apartment. It should not be something that you have to suffer because you have not much money and only because the price is low. So it is much more, and this is what very often Paci is doing the citation. We want excellent architecture. So we want the whole package that is according to that what we can do in architecture. And not only technical questions or questions of economies. So this is new, and this will be the test to ask about how to deal with social housing, how to deal with other important projects that are really useful to show a more advantage than only that what we know now. But that means that we have to be open-minded. We, in BAI, and as well all the people that are affected in some kind to BAI, even the government or even the organizations that are caring, for example, social housing as an example. So it could be that we invent, that we find solutions that are not just tested out. And maybe they are breaking several rules or several imaginations or things that we thought about it is like that and we cannot think in another way. So we will test out and maybe we will find solutions that are not according to the daily business. And this is exactly what we understand under research. It's nothing new. In research, you are doing research because you are sure you will find results, but the results are not yet clear, not yet very common, not yet established. So it is also a risk. You can fail when you are researching. But on the other side, without research, you never will move in a direction, and we say this, the future is important, so we have to prepare for future questions. That means we have to move towards situations or towards solutions that are not yet known. And we have to have a field to test out, like hypotheses. We are asking about what could be a nice project for social housing in a way that it really fulfills something that since now was not yet really reached. For example, there are other examples. And this is what we want to do with BAI. It's nothing new in the content, it's only the question about research, finding new answers for interesting problems, and then re-establish that in the daily practice. And for that reason, I'm very sure that the students that are coming to BAI, they will have an absolutely basic, fantastic training in all the tools that you have to know nowadays as an architect, not only as an architect, also in other fields, but all the digitalization that you know, the machines, the instruments that you can use is something that you have to know as an architect. You cannot stand outside and say, it's not touching me. So in that moment, if this base is done, we can also approach to find in the procedure and in the process of production other ways than those that are just established. And this is also part of this school. Not only the result, but the procedure to the result. Architects have a lot of data. You can use these data to produce the things you need to put together to elements, and elements put together to buildings. So this is a procedure as well, and thinking about procedures and results connected together in a way that it makes sense. And this is new. This is new. You never will find, I don't know if there exists, I never found a school that is dealing in that way. Very often the school is stopping, the university is stopping, and then the students that made even a postgraduate, whatever, have to step out and going into the practice. And very often the practice is totally different from that what happened in the school. And we think we should come in closer with these two worlds. That is what will happen in BAI.